Howdy everybody. I'm sorry that I was gone for so long. I know it was just a horrible thing that I did. I'm so sorry. But the move went fine. I'm in a new place right now. Everything seems to be under control right now. Kind of. Some things are still up in the air, but whatever isn't. I had company up until now, so I haven't been able to do a video yet. But this is going to be the first video that is going to be on bodies. And remember we talked all about that. And I think first we're going to do ladies' bodies, young ladies. I think you've got to remember about bodies, really, is that bodies reflect the kind of person that you are, and at the same time, they can also inhibit who you are. So depending on the character you're trying to create, you want to portray this in the way you design the character themselves. Whatever. So just keep that in mind, and like you could have a very outgoing person, very fiery spirit, very spunky, very with a big attitude, and they can be very small. But at the same time, they would probably have more muscle tone than, say, someone who is very introverted, very quiet, very much a loner, who didn't like to go outside, etc., even though that person may be 12 feet tall. And we've all seen them in anime, the big, bulky, masculine characters who are, on the inside, just little bitty teddy bears. And you could have like a femme fatale, or so on and so forth. It all is in the character themselves. I really don't know what term to use right there. The character itself. There we go. So just keep that in mind. And that does not just go for just bodies. That also rounds to, you know, head style, hairstyle, the shape of the face, the shape of the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You can have a smaller mouth or a larger mouth. You can have puffier cheeks or a narrow face, pointy chin or a square chin, etc. There's just a whole bunch of factors that you should take into account when you're designing a character. And if something doesn't look right, or someone says it doesn't really fit the character, you might need to look at each little thing that you've done and see, does this portray the character that I'm trying to get across? And that's just a thought. So, with that being said, now that you're all bored, we'll start. Someone asked me what kind of pencil and pencil lead I use. I use a .9 mechanical pencil most of the time. I do this because larger lead tends to be softer. Smaller lead I would definitely use it for detail work. A lot of people will swear by .5 or smaller if it's possible, because it creates nice crisp lines, etc. And that's not really my style, because I erase a lot. An eraser is a sketch artist's best friend. And softer lead is better for erasing. Softer or lighter lead. Harder lead, like HB pencils, those green pencils, like the one that I showed you in one of the tools videos, it's very hard lead, and if it's sharp enough it will indent paper. But if you can get a pencil like that and have it dull, it should work perfectly fine, because it can be soft, and you can write softly and lightly. But if you have a mechanical pencil with a small lead, unless you write very lightly, it probably will indent the paper, and it will be hard to erase it. I've done that before, and that's why I use .9. Also, there's another type of pencil. I can't for the life of me remember what it is, but it's a very soft lead. I also showed it to you in the tools video. A lot of people use that also. It's great for if you want to shade things using pencil. It's one of the ideal things that you will work with. Alright, now that I've bored you again, let's just draw a face here. Just draw the shape of the head. And remember, what comes after the head? The neck. Now, the shape of the neck is also a very characteristic tool. If you have a child character, it will probably be a rather short, rather skinny neck, unless it's a large child. But like I said, if you have a tall character, probably a longer neck. If you have a masculine character, a thicker neck. If you have a very delicate looking feminine character, probably a longer, thinner neck, you know. And there are all sorts of ways that you can portray that. A character just through one little area of their body. Alright, what we're doing now is the shoulders. The shoulders are a bit difficult because they also depend largely on the character. They can have small shoulders, large shoulders, etc. But you always want to keep this the same. A lot of people don't measure, and that's a bad thing because you know that thing where you see artists and they're doing this and they're like, ooh, and they got one eye closed or something? They really use it, they're really measuring, and it really works. I promise. You may look stupid if you're doing it in real life, but if you're doing it on paper, nobody's going to tell. So what you do is you just place the tip of your pencil to the top of the head, and then place your thumb at where the chin is. And you've got yourself a piece of measurement. I forget what it's called. And you can use how long the head is, how wide the head is, etc. And for women, it's usually shoulders are usually a head and a half long, wide. So that's around I made them a little wide, but that's alright. And then for men, it's usually 2 heads wide. If you want to go for, children, they will probably not have very wide shoulders, etc. I'm running out of time already. Who does that? What you see, there are shoulders. Your shoulders are a ball joint. That's why they can move around in a circle and spin around and happy time. I usually put this line here to show where the chest line is, because on a male's chest, this is where the breasts would be, this is where a woman's would start, etc. But a lot of people, they all do bodies differently. Some do this kind of a thing. That's great. That's to show where the rib cage is and the line that it's at. You can see that. This is kind of blurry, isn't it? Let me see if I can sharpen this. There we go. I'm sorry if my camera never seems to stop moving on this desk. But other people do this, and just, some people will put, that's really just the torso, and this is the center line of movement. Gotta remember that. It's just like on the head. You do it where the body goes. Another thing to remember about that is that the body does not always have to face the same direction. Your hips can face left while your shoulders are facing right. Like, say, we've all seen those models in the magazines where they're taking a big step and they're looking back over their shoulder. That's a great representation there. Hips, their legs are facing forward, but the rest of their body is facing another direction. I have to stop this right now, but I will be coming back soon with the next video. Thank you!